Thank you so very much. Let me begin by gratefully acknowledging my good friend. He has now become my friend. And he had not disclosed to me that the picture that he took with me had the effect of saving his education. I am humbled to hear that, and I hope we'll take pictures so that in the event you get into some trouble, the pictures may hopefully save you while you are trying to reach me. Let me also recognize the aspirants to political office and express some slight regret that I see only males here. I do not know why the ladies did not feel the urge to join and take to the front lines and also aspire to lead the students of this institution. And let me hope that at the next round of elections for the SRC, we will see a whole host of able, young, confident, vibrant women stepping up. Let me say up front, I love you folks. I love you very much. And I want you to understand what I mean by love. Because this word tends to get confounded and confused and sometimes lost in translation. By love, I am not referring to any hedonistic sentiments. By love, I'm not referring to any self-titillation, self-excitement. By love, I refer here to that supreme and enduring commitment to the well-being of others. I love you, folks. I love you enough to stand here today and seek to urge and encourage you first to love yourselves. I want you to love yourselves, respect yourselves, and take yourselves very, very seriously. I want you to love each other in the same manner that I've defined love for you. Be supremely committed to the well-being of each and every one of you. And I want to engage with you today on a phenomenon that is gaining traction, potency, and is becoming dangerous in its proportions. The phenomenon they call gender-based violence. And I want to engage with you because you are the ones feeling the brunt of gender-based violence, both as its victims and its perpetrators. You read in the newspapers, you see on social media young people of about your age who have killed or maimed other young people, who have committed horrendous acts of violence against other young people. And it impels me, therefore, not to sidestep this critical issue, deal with it with you and for you. And I want to approach it from the standpoint of wrestling with two crises. The first is the crisis of masculinity. What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a male? That is the first pole of tension. And the second is, what does it mean to be a female? And it is a clash of these two, or a confluence of these two poles of crisis, that create for us the phenomenon that we are wrestling with as society. Masculinity is shrouded in three main illusions that we must overcome if we are to contain and control the specter of gender-based violence. The first is this sense, this illusion, that it's about masculinity, maleness is about size. Size of your muscles, size of your wallet, size of other parts of the human anatomy. Size. That is the first myth. It has nothing to do with that. And this myth expresses itself mostly on the ball field, where males have to excel, to impress. They have to express themselves aggressively. So maleness becomes associated with, or an adjunct of, aggression. So when you engage with each other, when you engage with your female counterparts, you place at the forefront of such engagement the propensity to dispense violence or threats thereof. That's the first illusion. The second illusion is that your worth, your self-worth as a male is equal to your net worth. You must have money. You must have a certain persona that either fakes or represents the presence of money. And so you are forced to go to great lengths to pretend you have money even when you don't. Because your value, either to yourself or to those around you, in particular the females, is reckoned on the basis of whether you do or do not have money. And so you tend to fake the funk and pretend you have the money. You have money. There's no requirement that you must have money. Your self-worth is not dependent on your having money. Far from it. You are not who you are on account of how much you have or do not have. Or at any rate, how much your parents or relatives have or do not have. You are worthy as you are. As you sit here in front of me, you are worthy. You are valuable. You are important. You are genius. And so you need to understand this aspect. So the ball field, the billfold, and the third myth is what you are told most times. Be a man. And when they say be a man, they are suggesting to you that you must detach yourself from your emotions. They will tell you that boys don't cry. So if you come to that point in your life, that inflection point where you might just cry, you contain it. You pretend you are not there. And it hurts you to the core. And it destroys you deep down because you do not want to express it. And so a lot of males suffer from something called alexithymia. Alexithymia is the reluctance or inability to express your emotions. So when you hurt, you pretend you are strong because you're a man. You suppress those emotions of hurt and harm. And they become pent up inside of you. And they come to bursting point. And they express themselves violently in relation to yourself, where you hurt yourself. You've heard of the phenomenon of people cutting, immolating themselves, and or becoming suicidal and homicidal, kill themselves or kill others and then kill themselves. It is a result of this struggle to contain your emotions and not give expression to them, and in the process of so doing, seek help and support. And so you go around faking the funk and pretending you are strong, pretending you are a perfect male. None of us is perfect. We are all frail, broken, fractured, fissured human beings. We need each other's support. We need each other's understanding. We make ourselves through our connections with others. And so it is important to appreciate this and to overcome this threefold crisis of masculinity. And I turn now briefly to the crisis of femininity. What is it? It is also predicated on two illusions or fallacies. The first is this, and you ingest it from birth as you grow. You must become a worthy woman or lady. And to become this worthy woman or lady means you must model and present yourself in a manner that makes you attractive to some male who will come and rescue you, sweep you off your feet, become your knight in shining armor, and validate you by marrying you. Dangerous myth. So you live your life from the outside, seeking validation from your male counterparts, concerned about what they think of you, and so dislocated from your own self, your authentic self, that you are prepared to become what they want of you, what they expect of you. It's a very dangerous fallacy. And the second fallacy in relation to femininity is this: that it's also about shape, about some conception of beauty, about size and appearance. that your worth lies in, if I may bluntly put it, in your butt and your boobs. And so you go around living your life boots and butt out. Because you live under an illusion that this is what defines a woman. This is what gives them worth. This is what validates them. This is what makes them attractive. To whom? To the knight in shining armor, who is a male. Now these twin defects of femininity mean that as a woman, you also live your life from the outside. You detach yourself from yourself and you look at yourself the way a male outside of you would look at you, and you present what you think that male notionally would want of you. And so you go around presenting yourself in a manner that is not genuinely and authentically yourself. You go around presenting yourself in a manner that some conception of a male would want of you. So you take beauty. For you to feel beautiful as a woman, and you want to feel beautiful. You think you want to look beautiful. But you do not want to look beautiful for yourself. You do not wrestle with what beauty means to you. You are looking at it from the standpoint of an outsider. What does beauty mean to that person? And this is what I must model and present to the world. It's a very dangerous misconception. It makes you vulnerable because the locus of control of your life, you've now ceded. You've taken outside of you and given it, placed it outside of yourself, and you are living your life from outside in rather than from inside out. These are the problems, the crisis of femininity on the one hand, and the crisis of masculinity on the other. And they come together. And they create a conflagration, a fire that burns and destroys young people. And so I challenge you today to overcome, to wrestle with, come to terms with what it means to you, not to anybody else. What does it mean to you to be a woman? What does it mean to you to be beautiful? What do you understand it? How do you express your inner beauty? Because if you appreciate that there's inner beauty, and that beauty resides inside of you, you're not going to go looking for it. You already have it. You already have it. You need to recognize, reconcile yourself with that beauty that reposes inside of you. You are beautiful. Each and every one of you here is beautiful. I want you to know that. And don't let anybody mislead you. You are beautiful. Everyone. You are unique. You are different. You are beautiful in a scintillatingly different way from perhaps the next person. But you are beautiful. So in order to be beautiful, you don't have to mimic Beyonce. No. You don't have to fake the looks of Rihanna or any other person. You've got to model yourself. Your biggest asset is you. The best person you have is yourself, not anybody else. Don't go judging yourself or misjudging yourself on standards that you appropriate from externally, from outside of you. Once you come to terms with the good, the bad, and the ugly in your own life, you've begun to take control. And when you take control, when you are at peace with who you really are, you will then be able to find your purpose. Why are you here? Why are you studying? What do you want? Some will say, no, because I want to make money. Is that what you want? It's a wrong conceptualization of your worth and your purpose. You must, in your private estuary, in your private space, wrestle with who you really are. What is your purpose? What is it that is so authentically you that you can offer to the world? See a character called Mr. Bean. See that character. See his features. I'm sure he sat, looked himself in the mirror, and said to himself, I'm a good-looking dude. He contorted his nose, made faces, checked himself out, and said, I have certain unique attributes that I can monetize. He didn't have to go asking. I think he sat in front of a mirror, and the mirror looked at himself and said, this is something I can give the world, entertain the world with it. Entertain, and the money will come. And it did come. You look at Mr. Bean, you might not even think he's such a good-looking guy. But he's good-looking in what he offers. He's genius. What is it about you? Not anybody else, not your friend. You. What is it about you that is so unique and precious that it makes you stand out? That is what gives you an unfair advantage over other people, because they will not have that. If you haven't found it, then you haven't quite established who you really are. Find that about yourself. That is your strong point, your selling point. And that is what gives you power and potency. That is what gives you strength, and you draw confidence from, and you provide inspiration through. This is what I want us to appreciate. Understand, know yourself, love yourself, and then to be a human being. Human means you must have relations with other human beings. To be a human being is a relational phenomenon. You've got to interact with others. When you do, find those connections, those affinities, you are then able to dedicate yourself to a cause that is bigger and better than you. You cannot thrive alone. You will not live in some island all by yourself. You live with and among other people. You need to understand them relative to yourself once you've figured out who you really are. And then you make these connections, these networks, micro networks that amplify your worth. And so you would have discovered your purpose then. These folks who are aspiring to be SRC presidents, it seems to me, are taking their first faltering steps in the direction of answering that critical question. What is it? What is the cause that is bigger and better than me that I can associate myself with, give myself to, and express my uniqueness through? For them, it's student politics. And they want to lead. They are stepping forward and saying to the world, I am worthy. I am confident enough to tell you that I want and I can be and I will be president of the SRC to start with, and at a certain point, maybe the country. You folks have balls of steel, in a manner of speaking. And you must be encouraged, you must be celebrated. Because out of, I don't know how many students there are here. I'm not sure what the student population is here. But how many are you? 3 who have stepped forward and want to be president? How many contestants? 3. Out of the many, 3. There's something about them. There's a certain brashness, there's a certain arrogance about them, which you need doses of. You have to have a certain touch of arrogance to feel that you can lead these many people. There's something unique, there's something special that you see in yourself. And it must be celebrated and encouraged. And I acknowledge you and thank you for stepping forward. And I call on others to step forward, not so much to become president, but to serve in some capacity in society. This is the challenge. And once you have made sense of these things, incidences of gender-based violence will decrease. Because why would you need to be violent? If you are in some relationship and the person says, I no longer want to relate with you, what is the problem? Is this person God? Did she or he make you? That when they don't want to relate to you anymore, now your life has come to an end? You take yourself so cheaply that you can terminate your life because some relationship has ended. It's a strange reaction. And so you need to rise above these predicaments and settle for yourself who you really are. You are worth more than some relationship with a man or a woman. You are more important than that. There's so much ahead of you. And so, in order for us to curb, contain, and ultimately eliminate gender-based violence, we've got to make sense of these and overcome the illusions attendant upon masculinity and femininity. And so I say to you in conclusion, study, be creative. Data analytics, you said, it offers you limitless possibilities. Whatever program you are in does not define you. It must be your baseline. That's your springboard, your launch pad into something bigger, something greater, something that catapults you into greatness as you and not somebody else or a replica or an echo of anybody else. And so I said, and I say, thank you so much. These are your potential leaders. Assess them honestly, assess them genuinely, assess them objectively, and may the best candidate win.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those brilliant words of wisdom. Without further ado, we've got the schedule mixed up a bit. So the second speaker, Gito, will start first, and then Paco will come second. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Gito Mutlabalin to the podium.
Viva student power, viva! I would like to see some energy in the room again.
Hey, sorry about that, students. First of all, the president has got a very busy schedule, but we thank him so much for coming, like we had said. We thank you so much, and you should not be a stranger. You're always welcome here. That's an honor to just interact with the students anytime you feel like it, and I'm sure they'll give you a good reception. Again. So that being said, thank you so much.